Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Woe. I think this is episode 6. I actually got an idea for an episode right before I filmed it, so I'm not that I'm really ever prepared for an episode, to be honest, but I just looked up a couple articles, because I put on my, if you can see here, I got a BTS sweater, because I do like my boys in BTS, and I was putting on my Star Wars Christmas hat since it's the first episode of December. We're in the Christmas holiday season, and it got me to thinking, because I saw some article about some kind of fan base earlier in the day, and it made me think of, I want to just talk about fucking toxic fan bases, because I feel like there's so many, and I feel like Star Wars and BTS are two very good examples of very toxic fan bases. And I love these two things, but if there's one terrible thing about them, it's their fans. And it made me think, like, what are the worst toxic fan bases around? And so I got a couple articles here, like things about it. Vulture went into a really long article where they, like, had a big voting thing with, like, a bunch of people, and it came down to, like, a few, I don't know, but it was really, really long, and I don't know. There was just a bunch, and it was just kind of, I don't know whose opinion, I guess all their fans' opinions, but there was so many that I was just like, hey, it would take too long to go through. So I thought I'd just look up a couple other things. The Daily Star did one article about it, but this one's not that good because I feel like there's worse fan bases than what they talk about on here. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about toxic fan bases this episode, and I wanted to also mention a couple things that I just noticed after the last episode, and I mean it just shows how much of a friggin' idiot I am. But it's funny, but like. So, whoa, this is Tales of Woe, right? And it's supposed to be like a play on words, like, whoa, like Keanu Reeves says whoa, like that kind of whoa. And woe is in like sadness type of woe. But WOAH is not how woe is spelled. It's WHOA. I'm sure you know that. I'm sure everybody noticed that. I guess it's a thing that a lot of people get wrong. Like when I was looking it up, because I saw it spelled somewhere WHOA, and I thought that was one way to spell it, but I thought you could also spell it WOAH. And then I looked at it, and it's like, no, that's just a common misspelling. And so now I feel like an idiot because that's the way my podcast is spelled, but I kind of don't want to change it. I mean, I don't know. Should I change it? I think it's kind of funny that it's spelled wrong. That it's like supposed to be a play on words, and it's just a failed play on words because it's not even spelled right. This is like I'm such a fucking idiot. But then also at the end of the episode, I started saying "Konnichiwa, bitches," right from the Chappelle Show. But konnichiwa doesn't even mean goodbye. I'm saying it kind of like, peace out, bitches. But konnichiwa means hello. And it makes sense in that episode that they say konnichiwa, bitches, because they've just become Asian. So it's like, hello, bitches. Like, right? It's like, so it makes sense there. Even though David Letterman does say like, and konnichiwa, bitches. So that's kind of why I said that. So now my fucking... the thing I've been saying at the end is just doesn't even make sense. I'm saying like, what's up, bitches? But it's still fun. I still kind of want to say that too. I don't know. What do you think? Should I do that? And does it just make me sound like an idiot? Because I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, but it also does make me. I mean, I am an idiot. It doesn't make me seem like an idiot. It's proof that I am an idiot. But it's still funny. So I don't know what to do about that. But toxic fan bases, I was going to talk about other things, but I just thought this was a fun idea. I kind of like doing things like that, and if I would be more prepared... Oh, my fucking mouth is dry. Sorry. And if I were to be more prepared more often, these episodes would kind of be a bit funner because, yeah, I don't know. I probably get boring just talking about bullshit and ranting on about stuff, even though I'm kind of doing that here as well. This is like at least, I don't know, funner, kind of, to talk about toxic fan bases. Like I'm trying to think of, so in this is the Daily Star, the one I'm looking at right now. They have, I don't know, there's probably 10 or something. Yeah, top 10 toxic fan bases. So they have metal. I don't think it's like, it doesn't look like it's ranked from like 10 to like the most to least. I think it's just kind of 10 in total. And these, I don't know if I agree. Not that I don't agree with all of these, but like I think there are worse ones that could be included in this. So the first one they mention is Metalheads, which I mean I'm a part of so many of these things, but I don't think I'm a douchebag about them really ever because I think you should be able to like whatever you like, and I don't know. I think I can probably be a snob, and I'm not, and I don't realize it. But metalheads. So that I could see is definitely true. There's definitely a lot of snobbery in metal, and like if you don't fucking know all of the fucking B sides to shit, you're not a real fan, and like all the stuff like that. And it's if you're not heavy enough, or it's too heavy, or it's like all this different shit. There's so many different things like people hated Asking Alexandria for a long time. What are a few bands? Trivium people really disliked, like metalheads really thought sucked, which I kind of didn't really care that much about Trivium for a long time, but I like them now. I'm still not a super big fan of that kind of that kind of singing that Matt Heafy does, but I think he's good. Like I like their album In Waves. I think is good. I like Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr. So I like him for that. But yeah, there's a lot of like Bring Me the Horizon got a lot of shit. There's a lot of bands, and I didn't like Bring Me the Horizon for a long time. But there's a lot of bands that get like a lot of shit and metal people dislike, but then they end up liking kind of eventually a lot of stuff, which is odd. But so metalheads, I would agree with that. The next one was football fans. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean yeah, they are toxic. I mean they fucking tear down things and make riots and shit. So I guess they are very toxic. I don't really give a shit about sports though, so I'm not around those people at all, really. But they do freak out about stuff. That's for sure. Like my dad, well, football, sports in general. I wouldn't say it says football fans. I would just say sports. Is this football, American football? I'm guessing. Oh no, I think it's talking about. I think it's talking about the English, whatever football, like soccer. Football fans are crazy. 90% is harmless quarrel. Blah blah blah. It says instances in Europe and South America where people have killed each other because of confidential gay Newcastle fans. Yeah, so that's about the not American football. Nostalgia fans. That's just a dumb thing. I mean, that's so much. Nostalgia, anime. Yeah, these are all true. Sonic. I wouldn't really say Sonic. People were freaking out about the movie and about his arms or whatever. But I would say that more has to do with just retro video game fans than purely Sonic fans. I don't know that there's necessarily a lot of purely Sonic fans. There are, but I think it's more like people who just like retro video games. YouTuber fan base, I mean, yeah, I think it depends on what kind of fan base, but I think that's definitely true. People like H3 and like Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan isn't a YouTuber, but I mean, he has a big audience that watches on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, anytime you get really big, I think that's the thing I was gonna talk about too. Is anytime you get really big, your fan bases kind of suck. Like, I love Star Wars and I love BTS, but they're so big that there's a bunch of terrible people. I mean, especially with BTS, you get like little girls, they just get emotional about things, so they care way too much about things. And it's like I've seen so many, because I do genuinely love BTS, so I see a lot of things on social media, and there's like so many posts of like they got in trouble for like I guess BTS got accused of plagiarism, and so there was this reporter that was just asking a question about what their response to that was, and then BTS just kind of said, or whatever. I think it was RM that spoke or whatever, or maybe it was Suga, but they just kind of said, uh, whatever. Just read our statement from our representation or whatever from the record label. And then, so that was it. That was literally it. That was all that was in the video. But the fans were so offended that that reporter asked them about plagiarism, which is like they got accused of plagiarism. Of course, you're gonna ask them. You're a reporter, like that's their job. Why wouldn't they ask them? That I don't. I'm not mad at the reporter for asking that question. But the fan base was just like so angry. It's just like the angriest of little girls. Like you can tell that's what mostly what their fan base is. They're just I mean, if I don't, that is one of the, I will say one of the most toxic fan bases is BTS for that reason that when you, when you read comments and stuff, it's like the most hatred you've ever seen. Like they get so fucking mad just over these pretty boys that sing and dance well. And they get just so offended. It's like, I don't understand how, like, I love these boys, don't get me wrong. I mean, oh, I don't like that. Good thing I am the only person who really watches this, because I mean that's just a terrible clip. Like, what I anyway, but I am a big fan of this band. I will. That's the way I'll put it. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this band, and but I don't get that angry about stuff. Like I don't really get. Yeah, I mean, I like them a lot, but I mean, it's crazy how just especially I mean especially it's just younger girls. It's like all these young girls that for whatever reason have so much stake in these boys that they're probably never gonna meet. Maybe they'll see in concert. If they do, it's because they're very lucky and their parents have money, because I don't know how you get into those concerts. They seem extremely expensive to get in. I mean, I would. That's the thing. I would love to see BTS in concert, but I don't want to be a guy, an adult man alone around a group like lots of young girls, because that's just weird, you know. Like I don't want to. I don't even want to give that a creepy vibe. Not that I am gonna be creepy, but that is just creepy in itself when you're just an adult among a bunch of children. Like I don't want to. Like so that's weird. Like that's the reason I would love to see BTS, but I don't want to be in a concert because it's just strange. I just don't. It's just it's weird. I don't want to be just an adult around a bunch of children. Yeah, I don't know. I went to a oh that was one thing too. I went to a movie once with this chick friend, and it was like a kids movie because I don't know, girls like seeing Disney children. It wasn't even Disney. It was that movie, The Croods. It was like about fucking a prehistoric family. I think Emma, not Emma Watson, Emma Stone. Oh, I love Emma Stone. But I think Emma Stone was one of the voices of one of the characters in that. But I went to that and I was like, I don't know, maybe 19 at the time, and that even made me uncomfortable because it was like me, this girl, and then it was just like mostly kids and their parents, and I was like, this is weird. I'm too old for this. I've outgrown this thing at this point. I don't have kids. There's no reason I should be among children. It just gives out a creepy vibe no matter what. But yeah, so let's keep going through these fan bases. Let me see here. So we had Metalheads, we had football fans. Nostalgia fans, anime fans. I mean, it depends what kind of anime. I would say white anime fans. I would say white anime fans are probably the worst. So that's what to say. Several categories, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Sonic, yeah, Sonic fans, I think, is dumb. YouTuber fan base, I think it depends on the YouTuber. Anti fans, like, that's the thing. This list kind of sucks. I don't think this is that great of a list because it's like, what the fuck are they even talking about? They're just saying a bunch of random shit. They're much better, worse fan bases. Like, this is a list that they don't even have BTS listed in. At least another. I saw another list, but it was for a website I've never fucking heard of. So I was like, I mean, just why talk about it? Because why put stake into what they say? Really? I mean, that's coming from me. That's like a retarded thing for me to say. But I mean, it just seems like, I don't know, this is at least a thing, you know? The Daily Star is at least like a publication, not just like an internet thing. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. Anti fans, so that's. Oh, people who hate fan bases, I guess. People who go all out against fan bases. I mean, yeah, I guess. Nintendrons, people who like Nintendo. Yeah, I guess. I don't know, this list sucks. I'm just gonna talk about the things that I think are the worst. So BTS, like I said, BTS is just some the just. I mean, it's not even BTS. I mean, it's like all those kind of things. Like, oddly enough, it is kind of some of the worst fan bases are fan bases that are comprised solely of little girls because they have way too much emotion and shit, and they just get offended about they take these bands way too personally. So it's like BTS, but even before that, it's like One Direction, like Justin Bieber, fucking the Jonas Brothers, like all that shit. They all fucking get offended so easily when anything happens. They care way too much when people date people, and like it's such a big problem. I don't know what it is. I mean, people care way too much about shit. When it's like just you can enjoy it, and if something happens that you don't like, then it's like it has nothing to do with you. Like, why does it affect people so much? I mean, I guess it just means a lot to people, but I mean, stuff means a lot to me, and I don't get so bent out of shape. Like, dear Lord. So we got, yeah, I mean, Star Wars, Star Trek too is like, I mean, the Star Wars people are super bad for what they are. Star Trek is a different kind of terrible. Like, they just kind of. I mean, they're way more like nerdy. Like the real Star Trek fans, they're kind of they're all about science shit. And if you don't get all of science right, they fucking hate. Like Star Trek fans haven't liked. I mean, but that's for a lot of shit. The old fans of stuff don't like any of the new stuff. Like Star Trek fans haven't liked any of the new shows. There's been, I don't know much about Star Trek, but there's been Picard, there's been Discovery, there's been oh, see, I don't even know more than that. Picard, Discovery. Yeah, I have no idea, but they apparently they hate those shows. And some people, I think, I think you probably like them if you didn't watch the old Star Trek. Like I could probably watch those shows and be like, "Oh, this is a fucking sweet show," but they just hate them. I guess it's not in with the science. It's not all about like it's like I guess the original Star Trek, at least from what I watch with Red Letter Media, is like the old Star Trek was very much about they were above kind of all of the racial quabblings and stuff, and they were kind of going among space, being kind of better people, whereas the new shows kind of just like have everybody being shitty people and everybody having inter conflicts. and stuff. I don't know how true that is because like I've never watched Star Trek really. I've seen one of the newer movies, which I thought was fine. Um, and I saw one of the older. I don't know if it was the end of a season of Star Trek: The Last Generation, or if it was a movie, or if there's a thing that was both, or I don't know. But I've seen something with Picard where he's older and he's on a farm or something. And I don't know. That one was all right. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched some of it and I thought it was interesting enough. When I was younger, I did not like Star Trek 'cause I thought it was just boring. I thought it was literally just people fucking it was it anytime I turned to it when it was on TV because it was usually I guess the next generation or like Deep Space Nine, I guess it would have been on TV. Whenever I turned to it, they were just talking. They were just sitting in their stupid looking Star Trek uniforms, just talking to each other. And I was like, it was just boring. Same thing with like Frasier when I was younger. I started watching Frasier a bit when I was older and started thinking it was more funny. But like when I was younger, Frasier, I would turn that shit on. It's just these quasi British people talking. Like they're not British, I guess, but they seem British. I don't know. Understand what was going on. Their dad didn't have a British accent, but they talked almost with a British. I don't understand what's going on with that show. I haven't watched a lot of it, if you can guess. I think it's pretty funny though. Some of it that I've seen. And that's another thing. Like, what are some TV shows? Oh, I saw one article I was looking at. And I'm going to go to that other article just because I think it was a bit better, even though I don't know. Tuco. So it just makes me think of Breaking Bad, the villain from Breaking Bad, Tuco. But it's Tuco that .co.ke. Whenever I don't know what the fuck this is. What does it say? It says best digital news platform of 2021. I don't know what that's by. I need to put on glasses. I have glasses, but I don't put them on enough, and my eyes are getting worse and worse, and I still don't put on my glasses because I always forget. It's bad. But anyway, this list is a bit better, even though I don't know what the fuck this website is. So I said I wasn't gonna pull this up, but I think it is a pretty good list, and it's jogging my memory because I have a terrible memory, and sometimes I get off base when I talk about stuff. The first one they list is Naruto. I don't know about anything about Naruto, so I don't know if their fan base is any more toxic than anything else. So I literally don't know anything about that. Barb's Nicki Minaj fandom. I don't know anything about that either. I haven't even heard about Nicki Minaj fans being bad. I've heard of what is it, the Beehive? The Beyonce's fans? I've heard of them being bad and like really fucking toxic and shitty, but I don't know anything about Nicki Minaj. So I said this was a good list, but evidently it's turning out not to be. Swifties, Taylor Swift fandom. I think that's definitely true. I mean, not that I think, not that what Kanye did, I think was a good thing. I think what Kanye did was kind of fucked up, but I didn't think it wasn't as bad as people made it out. I don't know. People just really fucking hated Kanye for that, and it's like I just said it was more funny than anything. Zack Snyder fans, I guess so. They got that movie out, so I guess they're. I don't know how toxic they are. That's another fan base I don't really know about. I don't like to travel in these really toxic fan bases often. Like, I know Star Wars fans are super toxic, but I don't like to go into there. It's like, I just watch people like Red Letter Media and stuff like that, and it's like, people get very mad about stuff. I like Red Letter Media a lot, but they really, they can be real snobs about stuff, and it's funny because it's like I really do like Red Letter Media. I think they're really funny, but it's like for them to be snobs for like the stuff that I think it's just funny the people who end up being these people who just review stuff, kind of, which is, I mean, more or less what Red Letter Media does, and they're funny about it, but they do kind of just review stuff. But it's like they're all kind of failed filmmakers. Like they tried to make movies and kind of just made shitty movies or weren't that successful at it. And then just kind of fell into stuff. Like it's the same way, and I love him too, but it's the same way for like James Rolfe and Cinemassacre. It's like kind of the same thing, you know, like, and he kind of just makes shitty, not shitty YouTube videos, but I mean, they're not, I don't know how to put it. I love angry video game nerd, and I watch every episode, and I watch it a lot. But it is not not the highest quality of things. I will say it's very DIY still, and it's not. The jokes aren't necessarily the funniest. They can be childish and stuff, but that's kind of its charm in a way, and that is as well the charm of Red Letter Media. But those things are also not super good and professional. Like when they try to be as good as they are, they're still not the most amazing things ever. You know, they're not the most well acted or well executed or well shot things. They're good and they're better than I can do. But it's like it's just funny that those kind of people are like, I mean, it's just especially funny with Red Letter Media that they can be so opinionated and shit so hard on things when it's like the things they made are shitty, so they they don't have as much room to talk about. And it's funny too because they also shit on Cinemassacre a bit, and like because there was a thing on Halloween or at the start of October where they were doing 30 movies for 30 days, kind of just the best kind of obscure horror movies or whatever for 30 days. And the first episode, I guess, they had an intern because I think they're doing so much shit now that they have interns and stuff. So they got an intern to kind of give a description. I think they had like a list of movies, and they gave an intern probably a list of movies they wanted to do, and she probably had to, or they I don't know if it was a girl. I don't know why I said that. That was very sexist of me to just assume it was a girl. I think because I'm thinking of a certain person that works at Cinemassacre that whose fault it could have been, but I don't know that it's that person. I just kind of assumed, and that was very that was very telling of me. I can't believe I just said she is all of a sudden when it's like you literally don't know who it was. But so somebody, I guess they were supposed to write a thing up about a movie, right? And then, so what I think they probably do is because James is filming for his AVGN episodes all the time. So all the other stuff they do in Cinemassacre, I think is like James's ideas a lot of the time, or like James is involved with a lot of them, but the production and stuff is put together by other people. And so I assume with the Halloween episodes, it's like James probably had a bunch of movies and the other guys, like Justin Silverman and like Kieran and stuff, and Newt probably all had like ideas on what movies should be on the list. But I'm sure he like gave his movies that he wanted to put on the list, and then they probably had a bunch of people working on just writing kind of the descriptions about them and stuff. And so evidently the first episode, or I think it was the first episode, they found out the description was plagiarized from somewhere else, and it was like an intern that did it, I guess. And so that's why it was very telling that I just said she. But I was thinking of the person that works for, that's the intern at I think Screenwave. I don't know if it's Screenwave that she's an intern for or Hack the Movies, but the person who edits it, I just assumed it was her for no reason. But because it had to be somebody, and I assumed she's doing the same thing on multiple videos. But anyway, somebody plagiarized, and then Cinemassacre like talked about it like the episode after, or whenever they figured it out. It was one or two episodes after. James made a video apologizing for it and explaining kind of what happened. And I believe him. I think it was kind of a mistake that they got an intern to just kind of, they told them to write a description, and the intern probably just took a description, probably didn't change it at all, just like these are the things that happened, but didn't have enough wherewithal to actually change it and write their own thing about it. And so, yeah, but anyway, that's all going to say that Red Letter Media shit on them, I guess. And it was probably just a little jab, but I think they've kind of shit on them before. And I don't know why, because it's like, it seems like James and all those guys are very nice and down to earth. And it's like, I don't know, Red Letter Media acts almost like they're better than them. And I like both of them a lot. So that's why it's just weird to me, because it's like two short kids calling each other, or one short kid calling another kid short, and it's like you're like making. I mean, not just that. Not that they called him out for plagiarizing. That was kind of just like a funny joke, but it was kind of more just. There's been other things where they kind of shit on them, and it's like, where'd you get off shitting on them? Like you're better than them, or like they're a shittier version. When it's like you, literally all Red Letter Media does is review movies. They don't write anything for any of their review. Not that they should write stuff for their reviews, but I mean, they don't write anything for any of the videos really they make. They have those shitty sketches they do every now and then, but most of what they do is just watch movies and then just talk about them and film it. It's not like it takes a lot of effort for everything they do. Like and they put out videos not even every week, like every few weeks. And at least Cinemassacre is doing a podcast every week. They're doing AVGN episodes at least once or twice a month. They've been doing, yeah, like in Halloween, they did 30 friggin' episodes, 30 things a day. And then they're also, the same company is doing like Hack the Movies stuff. And so, I mean, they're doing a lot of shit, and Red Letter Media kind of they just watch movies, talk about them, sometimes have a little skit, and that's literally all they do. And it's like, you can't really talk that much shit. Like, they made that Space Cop movie, which was like funny and like enough, but it was like a shitty, it was like a shitty movie, and they were like joking about that. But I think they like shit on the AVGN movie, which isn't a great movie, don't get me wrong. But it's like I said, it's like one short kid calling another kid short. It's like both of you aren't that great, and you just kind of make fun of things, and like, I don't know. It annoys me that it's when people think they're better than other people, and it's like that's annoying all the time to me, but especially when it's like you have no right to really talk when you're like also suck or aren't that great at stuff, you know what I mean? Not that they suck. Not that either of these people suck. I mean, they're just not the best filmmakers, I guess is what I'm saying. Anyway, tangents. Every episode, I think this is going to be a bad episode because I'm just going friggin' tangents. But I guess that is a toxic fandom too, is Red Letter Media fandom, and probably Cinemassacre fandom are pretty toxic. Like, there was a whole thing with William Shatner that wasn't even Red Letter Media's fault. It was kind of the fans that were just talking shit, and it was kind of, I'm not going to go into it. It was kind of complicated, but all in all, it just seems like it was pretty much William Shatner getting mad at Red Letter Media for their fans asking William Shatner about something, and then I think they were making fun of William Shatner, and then he just took it really personally. But he also might have been joking. Yeah, but anyway, I think the fans were just like shitting on him, and it kind of just got big and like out of control. But fandoms and all are just shitty. When you get a big group of people, there's gonna be a few people in that are just shitty. It's like the whole trans thing with Chappelle. It's like, that's not what probably, maybe not most, but I think probably even most trans people are probably not fucking agreeing with those fucking people who are outraged at like Netflix and stuff about the Dave Chappelle documentary. It's like, that's a bunch of the same people that are in fandoms. That it's just like annoying fucking crotchety babies who just can't, who don't understand something. They just get emotional. They hear something that triggers them. They don't look into it. They assume things about it and they get emotional about it and get angry and I mean just get super toxic about it. And it's like that's just in so many things, but it's unfortunate because it ruins a lot of things. Like yeah, like the fans in BTS are awful. The fans of Star Wars are awful. And I love fucking BTS and I love Star Wars. Tolkien fans, even. I love J.R.R. Tolkien. That's an episode I'm going to have to get into. That's going to be for nobody. It's going to be just for me. And I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about so many things. I'm going to talk about Morgoth. And I'm going to talk about Valerian. Or I'm going to talk about the Valar. And I'm going to talk about Arrow. And I'm going to talk about Ulmo. This is only for me. These jokes are only for me. Unless you like Tolkien, which shout out to you if you watch Tolkien or know anything about watch Tolkien. I mean, read Tolkien. I really want to talk about the Children of Huron because I'm listening to that on audiobook right now, and that is, I mean, it's a wonderful story, but it's the most fucking depressing thing you've ever read. Or for me, I'm not reading. I hate it when people say they're reading something when they're listening to an audiobook because you're not. It takes way more concentration to read something. When you're listening to it on an audiobook, you can be fiddling with your phone, you can be playing video games, you're not paying as much attention. And I think there is a difference to that. I think you're not getting as much out of it. But I do like listening to things when I'm doing stuff. So I do like listening to, especially I like listening to Tolkien before I go to bed. Not that it's boring, but it's like, it's soothing. And especially The Children of Huron is read by Christopher Lee when he is still alive. So that's cool. Having Saruman friggin' read you to sleep, I enjoy. But yeah, I mean, that is just, we're gonna talk about Tolkien on an episode, but that is just such a fucking depressing story. I mean, not to get too much into it, but it's like a guy. Morgoth is kind of the big bad. He was like the guy who taught Saruman to be bad, or not Saruman, who taught Sauron to kind of be bad. He was like, I mean, there's gods in Middle Earth, and he's kind of, I mean, there's a god, and there's kind of demigods, and he's kind of the biggest of the demigods, and he was evil, and or it was like, and he lots of people are against him. There's this guy Huron, and evidently, eventually, Morgoth gets Huron and curses him and curses his children, and let's just say it goes real bad. It goes real bad for Huron. It goes real bad for his wife. Well, not so. I mean, his wife, yeah, and his children. It just doesn't go good for anyone. It's literally a story about people who are cursed, and it's just a story about how these people's lives are slowly being ruined. There's not. I mean, I'm not at the end of it, but I kind of know how the story goes from other things and watching other things and learning about the lore. But I'm just kind of listening to the story now. But I don't think anything's gonna turn out good. It goes pretty bad. When you're cursed, it's people think of breaking a curse. In this story, I kind of know how it ends, and there ain't no curse to be broken. It's like very depressing, but it's a good story as well. So it's like, it's that weird thing is like you don't want to listen to more, but it's very interesting, so you do. But yeah, we're gonna get into Tolkien. But the fan base for that is what I was gonna see. I go on these tangents, and it's probably very annoying, and I'm very sorry. But what I was gonna say about it is people just talk about Tolkien, and they're very snobby about it, is what I was going to say. People are very snobby about J.R.R. Tolkien, and that's very annoying to me. Especially, like, people talk about the Silmarillion, and some people say it's, like, the best the best fantasy story ever or whatever, or it's like his best book. And I love the Silmarillion. Silmarillion. See, I even say it wrong sometimes. The Silmarillion. It's the Silmarillion. No, it's the Silmarillion. But people talk about that like it's the best book ever. And it's like, that's a tough book to read. And it's not snobby to say that. I mean, it's literally hard. Like, people who love Tolkien, I should say. I'm not even saying it right. I just say Tolkien. I say it wrong all the time. But it's just kind of the way my accent is. I guess I just say it, I guess I just say it wrong. That's the way my speech impediment is. But Tolkien, I'll say it properly. Tolkien, he yeah, I mean, he wrote the Silmarillion is really, when I say it's difficult to read, it's not like you have to be smart to understand it. It's just that it's long-winded and it's difficult to read, and that it doesn't get to the fucking point, which is hard to deal with. It's not that it's like difficult and that the language used is really difficult. Like, it's not like Shakespeare kind of shit. It's like difficult because it's just long descriptions of things like like I'm gonna not even gonna say it this right because there is literally so much lore that I could just say this all fucked up, but it's like this person, son of this person, who was then gave birth to these two people, and it's just long descriptions of like lineage and descriptions of like places and what things look like, and it's really good for storytelling. It's like the Silmarillion is really more of a it's more of a world history about the Middle Earth than it is a novel or a good yeah. I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but like it's more than just a story. It's like it's history, and that's kind of what makes it difficult. And there's stories in there, and there's narrative in there, but it is a lot of descriptions about stuff and kind of breaking down the world, and that can be really boring and long-winded. Like, literally, there was a point I sent my friend where it goes on for maybe 2 minutes, and I'm not joking. Like, I'll try to find a clip and maybe put it in this, but I think the audiobook was on YouTube. I think mine got taken off, but I'm gonna try to find the clip. But there was a clip that goes on for so long of just this guy who was son of this guy who had these children, who then had these children, who then had these children, and these people went on to marry him and her, and it just goes on for so long, and just like that, like just describing the lineage of people for fucking like a minute or 2 minutes, and it's like, Kate Tolkien, I love you, but this is insane. But it's also, to be fair, it wasn't published when Tolkien. I'm saying it wrong every fucking time. I just want to say Tolkien like fucking the character from South Park or the rapper. But Tolkien. Fuck, I say it wrong and I'm supposed to be a fan. But yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, he didn't even publish it. So it did come out after he died. It was edited by his son, Christopher Tolkien. Uh, That's gonna be. I'm eventually gonna have sound bites, and that's gonna be one. I'm gonna have to. Every time I'm gonna mention it, I'm gonna say JRR, and I'll just push the Tolkien button. But but yeah, it didn't come out when he was alive. A lot of stuff didn't come out when he was alive. But it's all good. That's the thing, is I do love it. But it's not the most narrative. It's not like Lord of the Rings. That's the thing. Is like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings are different things. Even Children of Huron is a narrative story, but I would say the first 5 minutes is a bit tough to get. I mean, the Lord of the Rings, now that I think about it, might be like that as well in parts, where it's just descriptions of things that are kind of hard to get through a little bit because it's just boring and it's like not that interesting. But all it goes to say, Tolkien fans can be shitty. Fandoms can just be shitty. Hopefully this wasn't too bad of an episode. I'm sorry if it was. I was kind of a little bit scatterbrained. But, yeah, it's kind of fun. Tales of Woe, episode 6, I think. Let me know if I should change the name, spell it properly. If I should stop saying konnichiwa, bitches. Sayonara, that's another way to say goodbye. Au revoir. Couldn't talk. Salut. That's kind of saying hello. Can you say salut to say goodbye in French as well? Au revoir is just bye. Salut is kind of, you say hello and goodbye. I don't remember. Anyway, konnichiwa, bitches. Tales of Woe, another episode. BTS, Star Wars, love them. Hate their fans. We out. Ugh, every time I say something cringe.